What's the relationship between the dollar index, gold, and silver? Where are we in the correction phase of precious metals, and what do we need to see for that correction phase to be over? Nick Santiago, President and CEO and Chief Market Strategist at InTheMoneyStocks.com, will expertly help us navigate through these topics on this week's Metal Money. I'm your host, Patrick Vieira. Good day, Nick. Welcome to Metal Money. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Nick. Really do appreciate it. Nick, first question. Do gold and silver prices have an inverse relationship to the dollar index?
At certain times they do. Currently, I'm going to say yes, but there are times like we saw last year where gold and the dollar will both go up together. So again, it has to do with money flow around the world. Where is money going from and to? Last year, or even the year before that, we saw a lot of money leave Europe and come to the United States. People were buying dollars. Gold also was inflating with that. So a lot of people have the misconception that gold cannot go up with a strong dollar. That's not true. At certain points and times, it can go up with the dollar.
Okay, yeah, that's true. A lot of people do seem to think that if dollar goes up, gold goes down. If dollar goes down, gold goes up. So okay, it's a great point. Um, but since March, the dollar index, it does look to be somewhat in a downward trend. Short term, where do you see the dollar index moving in the last quarter of 2020?
Okay, so the dollar has been pulling back recently. You could make a fair case. The trend has changed and it's gone down. But if you notice the big advance that the dollar has had, this is really just a corrective move. The dollar still has probably very good strength for the next couple of years. Now, in the short run, I think the dollar still could struggle here. But as we get into 2021 and 2022, I do believe the dollar is going to strengthen significantly and go to new highs.
Okay, significantly, does that mean that we may see, well, gold does seem to be in a correction right now. Are we going to see this correction last into 2021, 2022 if we see the dollar really strengthen up, as you say?
Yes, you could see that. It's a great point. Remember, gold went parabolic. If we take a look at the 2015 low, I think gold was at 1045, 1050. Yeah. I mean, we went up to 2100. So a natural correction, we could sit on the sidelines for 1 or 2 years. Remember, 2011 top and gold, we took a 5-year break where gold just went, pulled back for 5 years. It never went back down to its lows of 1999. But it's had it can correct like that. So a lot of people think that the metals are a smaller term cycle. They're actually a large cycle. They're actually a big, broad cycle. So while I'm bullish for gold in the longer term, in the short term, I'm very cautious with gold right now because I do believe you can get a lot of chop. And after you go parabolic, you usually will have a corrective type move. And I think we're still in the midst of that correction for gold right now on a monthly chart.
Okay, so this correction for guys who are really into gold investors, the gold bugs, they're seeing this pullback. Is this something to be concerned about, or is this something that is generally healthy, a healthy correction?
Oh, it's what you want to see. This is you never want to see something go up in a straight line, because once that happens and it takes over a parabolic formation, the move is over. And we did that. We had a parabolic formation in August, September. And now we're getting that corrective move. This is natural. This is what you want to see. It's healthy. I'd like to see gold sit back for a year. Let it just chop around and base for a year. Believe me when I tell you, you're going to see gold at the worst go to 2,800. And why I say that is simply for the fact that if you take the 1999 low to the 2011 high, you add that difference was around $1,700. Take the 2015 bottom, which I believe was 1045 or 1050, add that. That gets you to 2,800 on a symmetrical measure. So we're going to see gold get there, but it's not always an immediate move. A lot of people don't realize these moves take a lot of time. There's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of retraces that have to occur before you really put in that pattern that takes it off to the next level. Now, we know the central bankers aren't going to stop printing money around the world. They're going to just continue to do it until the system is in real trouble. And then that's really the most bullish case for gold and for silver as well.
What price target or what price would we be looking at before we see gold finally, before we can say it's out of correction territory?
Well, the next time gold breaks out to a new all-time high, if it does it with any velocity or volume, it's on its way. And that's what traders got to realize. Right now, we're in that corrective move. I think we've been, basically doing a little balancing act. We had the one hard sell in September, and now we're really just chopping around. This is a very, very good move. But once we break out with velocity, that's telling you the next leg has started.
Nick, when you look at your charts and with all the monitors, I think it's safe to assume you look at all these charts daily. You go through your
Okay.
technical analysis. Is there something right now that you see that is calling your attention to move to buy precious metals or move to sell precious metals?
Yeah, I think precious metals are setting up for a short-term buy. I think, but then it's not the breakout move where everybody's looking, hey, we're going to 5,000, or we're going to gold is going to 4,000. It's not that move. It's a tradable move, and that's all we're doing right now is we're just having tradable setups. We're not getting that so-called larger time frame setup, but that's part of the structure. That structure has to be formed, and then we'll see it really take off to the upside.
Okay, and the dollar index, precious metals, they both seem to be sort of jogging sideways as if they're in a holding pattern, a wait and see phase, maybe to the elections. Do you think the elections less than a week away are affecting the short term price action for gold and silver, or investors maybe waiting to see the outcome of the election?
Yeah, well, if you notice, all the trading volumes have been lighter now. And that's just a lot of investors sitting on the sidelines. Nobody really wants to go in with a whole lot of conviction at this stage of the game. The tax structure can change. The whole entire policy of energy can change. The energy complex can change rather quickly. There's a lot of dynamics that are out there that are just looming right now that nobody really knows. Gold will normally be a good leading indicator, in my opinion, to tell us what's going to happen. And right now, we're not seeing gold take over any leadership. So I think there's just a lot of people just sitting back and saying, hey, this is probably one of the most important elections ever, because you have two candidates that have completely
Yeah.
opposite views on the taxes that go on in the United States, whether it's corporate or personal. We're going to see a big, big tax increase if Joe Biden wins on people making over $400,000 a year. I mean, that right there will stagnate growth. So it's really, really important to see. And I don't blame anybody. I'm one of the people that are sitting back. Hey, I'm just trading water right now. I'll just trade short term. I don't want to get involved in that until I really know where we stand. But regardless, we just watch the pattern and we let the pattern tell us really what to do next.
And Nick, can you give me your outlook for gold and silver? Should Biden win or should Trump win? And if we do see a contested election where election day has come and gone, and mail-in ballots, let's say, are still up in the air and casting doubt as to the genuinity of the election, where do you think gold and silver prices may head, or where do you think the markets may even head?
Well, if that happens and we don't have a clear-cut winner on election day, I think it's slightly bullish for gold, because people will say, hey, I'm going to put my money in something that I think is going to be safe for the time being. A lot of times gold is played as a safe haven. And I think in this case, it will be played as a safe haven again, short term. Once we get a definitive winner, then things can change. But the whole structure of 2021, 2022, in my opinion, is already baked into the cards, regardless of who wins. So the first 2 years of any presidential election, whether it's an incumbent or whether it's somebody that is new, the first 2 years, they're going to do a lot of things because they know they have 4 years to handle it. First 2 years, they're going to do a lot of things to restructure, to get things back in order. And that doesn't bode so well for anything, asset prices or for gold. So I think traders should have to take that into account, just looking at just the presidential cycle in general. So I would still be cautious going forward. But after 22, you probably, when you get to 2023, start to see things inflate. And once you get that reinflation cycle going, that's really, really bullish undertone for gold.
Okay, so you're seeing inflation in 2023 then.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Nick, got to ask you though, silver, with this correction and we're seeing gold prices going down. Silver, how far do you think it may go down during this correction before it starts to turn around?
Silver's holding up very, very well. So you could back test maybe 20, maybe 18, 19 would be worst case scenario. One thing silver did, which was different than gold, silver came off of a low in March with power. And that's one of my favorite formations. When you thrust up from a low bottom and you surge the way silver did, I mean, that's one of the most powerful formations you're ever going to see. So now silver's in its corrective mode. Then I think 2023, 2024, silver attacks 50, which was a 2011 high. And I think it even surpasses that.
Okay, so inflation coming up, and then we may be looking at silver reaching its all-time high, 2023, somewhere around there.
I think silver's going to go in 2023 over $50. And I think
Okay.
it's a shoe-in. I think the odds are very, very high probability that that will happen.
Okay, Nick Santiago, you've given a lot of information in a short time. We definitely would like to get you back on the program, maybe for a little bit of a longer interview. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
There you go. The dollar index looks to continue downward, but will get stronger going into next year as gold and silver look to spend a bit more time in the correction phase. As always, let us know what you think in the comment section below, and remember to keep it liquid, keep it real. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next episode of Metal Money.